The world's changed.
It has, man, in a big way. I don't know that it'll ever go back to the same, man. I'm talking to a lot of guys in boxing media, and people are scared. They have no idea, like, if this is ever going to, if we're ever going to congregate 20,000 deep again, 15,000 deep. Nobody seems to know.
That's crazy.
Right.
You know, our kids may just have to hear about those days. They say shaking hands might be over.
Shaking hands might be over. Not, you know, walking out like without the face
with a mask on. Is that crazy?
Right.
Man. But these are the times, man, and this is what we're dealing with. You know, I'm on the forefront of it. One thing that I've always been able to do is stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
You know, and I'm trying to do that on this one as well. People don't know, but I told people March the 7th on my last Vlad that this thing was going to hit the black community harder than it hit anybody else. And that's because, you know, I stay on the edge. I'm always looking for the edge. You know, how can I get in front? How can I be the best? Because when I play, I want to be the best.
Right.
And I don't do this for money. You know, it's like the shit that I get out of it, you can't buy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that feeling where you like, I did that shit. So what if I didn't get no money out of it?
Let me ask.
For no money.
Let me ask you a question, man. This was going to be one of my questions for later on, but since you mentioned that, there's been quite a few people that have tried at your level that have tried to make their way into the boxing game. Guys like Jay-Z, guys like 50 Cent that have tried to come in with a lot of money and, you know, didn't stick around very long. You just mentioned that money not motivating you, not being the motivating factor.
No.
Where do you think those guys fell short? Where do you think that you'll be able to pick it up where they fell short?
Well, they stars. I never wanted to be a star. My work ethic made me one.
Huh?
Figure that one out.
I hear you. I think the world has already gotten a chance to figure it out, man. We see you in movies now, books. Is Snowfall, that's a TV series or a movie?
That's a TV series.
TV series, yeah. I mean, so the world has definitely gotten to know Rick Ross. You touched on something else. Do you mind if I read you a quote? Did you happen to hear what Terrence Crawford had to say with regards to the coronavirus, to this COVID-19?
I didn't.
Do you mind if I read you this quote real quick from Terrence Crawford?
Go ahead.
Okay, let me see. Okay, the quote is, he told Chris Mannix, "It ain't no different to any other day. I'm not locked up in the house. I'm not locking my kids up in the house. I'm telling you, I don't feel like these people that they say are dying and sick from it is actually true. I think they're using fear to try to control us right now for something else. I don't know what it is, but me personally, I just can't agree with a whole bunch of things that they're saying right now." And he goes on to basically make it seem, or not make it seem, to suggest that there might be something more to this. Now, in your case, in the 80s, Iran-Contra, at some point that might have been a conspiracy theory. We found out later on, you know, we know now it's not a conspiracy theory. We know that that's the truth. We know that the government did facilitate the sale of narcotics through LA by way of yourself and other people. So these days, if you mention anything conspiracy that sounds like a conspiracy theory, people will brush it off as if it's as if you're crazy. Terrence Crawford has caught some heat with regards to that. What are your thoughts on his statements and just in general on the idea that we're not supposed to speak on things that we might feel the government might not be, you know, be 100% on with us?
Well, I would say on this theory, if the government had something to do with it, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Anything's possible. But to say that this is not a real situation, that it hasn't affected the whole world, you would have to be a complete imbecile. to say that this is not real, that the fear that I feel right now in myself is not real, that the number of people that's dying around the world is not real, you've been asleep. So that's my statement, because I've been studying it. I might be one of the ones to come up with the cure for it.
You spoke to me about that the other day. We didn't get into detail on that. What exactly do you mean by that, or is this a holistic approach, with medicine, or is
no? This is scientific.
Okay. So what do we have here?
I believe in science.
Right. No, I hear you. But you know what, Rick? I'll full disclosure, I don't know you personally. I know a lot of people, celebrities and whatnot of that sort. And I'm not throwing you in this category. I'm glad you said that, because I think that holistic medicine is snake oil. So I'm glad that that's not what you're doing. And I'm glad that you believe in science. So fill us in on that.
Well, I know a doctor that's been a doctor for 30 years, a trauma surgeon in one of the busiest hospitals in the country.
Right.
And he's been saving lives. And he said that he's been killing germs. And he wants to go to the front line and show people what he can do. He retired in December. But he a bad brother. And
by brother, or are we saying brother? Is this a black doctor, white doctor?
It's a black doctor.
Because I think it matters. I only ask because I think it does matter. So
I mean, to some people, if they you're gonna save my life, I'm black. You don't want me to save your life? No, I don't think so. It don't matter when that ventilator's in your mouth.
Right.
And that doctor's on that ventilator. You don't care if he black or white.
100%. Absolutely. But I think I meant more in the sense that it's not you being a black man. It's not something that you would want to leave out if it weren't true, and it's something that people might find some inspiration in. If a black man in America can turn around and find the cure to this pandemic, I think is what
exactly. I mean, would that be crazy? When nobody was looking.
Right.
But I mean, let me show you how a smart person would think. But so far, this country ain't been too smart in this whole pandemic thing. Because I would lock us down. I locked all our ass down in January. They lucky I ain't the president. Right. I had the police out there kicking them in the ass and army out there and everything. They've been like, man, get that motherfucker out of there. But guess what? We wouldn't been having everybody dying.
Right.
God have took my licks. Okay, y'all mad at me? I don't care. But I say to people.
That's
so
right.
I don't think that they handle this whole thing right. But if I was the person looking for the cure, right, I would say, who is the best germ fighter in the country? Right? Well, who fights germs? Well, most people who get shot with a gun don't get killed by the wound. They get killed by the infection. Infections are germs. So let's find out who been killing the most germs. Huh? Whose patients been living the most? Let's go you got all the statistics. Come on, tell me now. Y'all backtrace and do all that stuff. I've been educating myself. You understand what I'm saying? Because whatever I get into hard. I've been into this, like, I dropped boxing, I dropped the weed business, I dropped everything like 3 months ago.
To get into this on the front lines of this, right?
Absolutely.
Hey man, that's a noble cause. You mentioned lockdown, and you mentioned that you would have people in lockdown. There's been some celebrities that have caught some heat. Ellen DeGeneres, it was one of them. She compared, and she was making a joke. In fairness to her, she was making a joke. She's a comedian, it's what she gets paid to do. But she was making a joke and comparing this quarantine to lockdown. And there's been other celebrities that have got maybe in some trouble for making statements comparing it to lockdown, not knowing what it is to be in jail. You being somebody that's done 20 years, What are your thoughts on that? I mean, not to say that
a lot better. Hey, it's a lot better than jail. I can tell you that.
Not better than jail, right?
No. Let me not even joke about that, because I saw some video footage from jail, and it reminded me when I was there. And you got a bunk arm lengths on your right side, and then you got a bunk, an arm length on your left side, and then you might have one or two dudes stacked on top of you.
Huh.
And they be coughing,
farting,
and sneezing, and farting, and barking, and snoring.
Yep. Yep.
What's happening with them dudes right now?
That was my next question for you.
One of the pens I was at, Lompoc, and a matter of fact, another guy that I walked the tier with, he had a life sentence as well as I did. We both had life sentences. He got out from Obama and let him out. Obama let him out, right? But that's my boy.
Personally, he got pardoned by Obama?
Yeah, he got pardoned by Obama. I know about 8 people got a pardon by Obama. How many people know that? How many people? I bet Jay-Z don't know 8 people.
I think I know John Forte. Did John Forte get pardoned by Obama? You remember the guy from the Fugees?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
he got pardoned by somebody, though. No, I think he got pardoned by Clinton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think Clinton pardoned him.
All right, so then I definitely don't know 8 people that got pardoned.
Yeah, so the joint that I was at right now, they say they got 29 cases of corona.
29 cases.
A place I slept at.
Right. It'll spread through like wildfire in there. I mean,
man, them dudes ain't got
6 feet apart.
But what's so cold? It's gonna be how they gonna get guards to come in there?
Right.
Because the guards gonna get it too.
Hmm.
So who gonna feed them? Because the cook's gonna get it too.
What was the normal protocol in jail if somebody was, extremely sick? Not a pandemic. A guy had a really bad flu, really sick.
Everybody in there get it.
How would the guards normally handle it? I mean, I've heard stories of people like they would literally wait till people are almost on their deathbed before they bring them to medical or whatever. Is that how that is?
Nah, they got good medical.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably not the best doctors. A doctor that got lost his license or something like that. Yeah. But most of the time the doctors was cool. I had no problems with the medical situation.
So let me ask you.
Not like the streets though. It ain't street medical.
Right. Yeah. Of course not. For the people that are freaking out though over this and maybe looking to find a way to find some peace of mind, find a way to get into that zone to where they realize, okay, I'm going to be locked down for a few months. Let me start getting comfortable. How and for a small amount of time, how does somebody get into that mental space?
Well, the first thing you got to do, what I would recommend is that you find a way to make yourself valuable. One of the worst things that I found out about being in prison is that I lost my value.
Huh.
I went from having a really, really, really high value to having no value at all. Cold thing.
Yeah.
So what I discovered while I was there is that I should start to find ways to create value. Where people would want to call you on the phone, where they want to send you letters. Why should anybody send you a letter? You gonna tell them you're in jail? You're gonna give them that pity party. So I figured that what I needed to do was make myself more valuable. So that's what I set out to do. And within doing that, created what you see today, and what you're gonna see tomorrow and the next day.
Do you think we live in a world today where people are prone to maybe not do what you're saying and maybe not make themselves of use to the next person by way of maybe being a little self-centered, a little greedy, facing the phone all the time, disconnected from each other, not speaking to each other, so on and so forth?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You think this is going to bring us closer together or further apart?
Further apart. I mean, if you don't feel the togetherness, you're not complete. That's why this stay at home is so big to us all over the world, because we as human beings are used to being with each other.
Right.
You know, we are all part of a system, and we function as one, whether we know it or not. We're so much alike. That's why when you hear about hatred and you know, just like if I was handling this thing, when I heard the breakout in China, I'd send my best doctors over there, my best scientists. I'd ask them how much equipment you need. Because the first thing I would have did, I know why I would have done it, I would have did to help them. The next thing I would have known, I would have had an advanced notice of what the disease was about. I haven't even heard nobody do an autopsy.
On anybody that's died yet, or?
Yeah, usually when you die, they do an autopsy.
Right. I know
they could tell you everything that happened.
Are they saying that the bodies were piling up too fast and they weren't able to?
I don't know. I just haven't heard anybody who came back and said we did an autopsy on the body and this is what we found the cause of death.
But
this is what happened. You know, I just haven't heard it. I mean, I heard them when people get shot, or, you know, somebody poisoned them. You know, they do an autopsy, but we had all these deaths and we don't have nobody doing autopsies. I don't know if the bodies are too contagious, maybe, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems funny to me. I just like to get all of the information that I can, as much as I can, I guess.
You mentioned the weed business before, and you said that you stopped that. You're working on this now. I would imagine you have plans to continue that business, correct?
Yeah, I do. You know,
So,
I want a license in LA.
Okay, so I mean,
they gave out 100 licenses? I came back 99.
I'm sorry, but how is it? Is there an issue getting the licensing now, or are you going through the process, or?
They're not. LA City is closed. DMV is closed.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's.
If the police pull you over and you don't have a driver license here in LA, they don't take you to jail.
Right. Wow.
If your tags expired on your car, they don't take your car.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Life has changed in LA.
In a big way. Would this be your first time selling weed? Like when you were
legally,
right? So that's the question I wanted to ask you. I know
legally.
I know you're not known. You know, we think of Rick Ross, you don't think of weed. But I would imagine maybe somebody would have said, "Hey, look, Rick, you know, you're taking 5,000 of these, and you know what, yo, just get rid of this other 1,000 of this weed." I would imagine that would have happened at some point, right?
You know what? One of the richest men in the world said, "If you ain't thinking about marijuana, you ain't no real entrepreneur." Huh. They say the marijuana industry is going to be bigger than tobacco and alcohol put together. You think I didn't want none of that?
Right. No shit. I'll take a little something too.
And then I looked at it, and then I started studying it, and I was like, damn, it really ain't no players in this game. A real player need to get up in here. Right. So
is there anybody left over from back in your day that's in that game, that's involved, that went legit like yourself?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know many people from back in my day that's still doing nothing.
So that should tell people something, right?
Yeah. For real.
I hear you, man.
But I know we're supposed to be talking about boxing, man.
Yes. We're supposed to be talking about boxing. I want to get as much as I can of Rick Ross. It's my first real opportunity to sit down and kick it with you. So
you don't want to give them all this; they ain't ready for it.
No. We got to give them a little something. This is the sample.
I'm telling you though, your people ain't ready for it though. This shit I'm talking about is heavy.
Yeah, man. I hear you.
See, I done learned a secret.
What's the secret?
How to get to the top. I figured out how to get everything I want. When you get a chance, go back and read this article they did on me in 2013. They wrote my obituary. And I was in prison.
Why'd they write your obituary?
I was in prison with a life sentence without the possibility of parole before I won my appeal. And one of the things I told him is that I was going to get into boxing. I didn't know that I was going to be the king of boxing.
Right.
I thought I was just going, help a few people, a few fighters, just go. But then after I got into it a little bit and I started looking, I was like, ain't no real players.
How has your reception been thus far in boxing? How have people?
They love me.
The guys
everywhere I go. Like everywhere I go.
Right. Now, are people being, because I know at some point when you were getting ready to come out, everybody wanted to reach out to you and kind of like, I guess.
Not everybody.
well, there was certainly a big rush of people reaching out to Rick Ross.
I had a few, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4,
So, and I'm sure with that came a lot of like, maybe a lot of promises, a lot of like, hey, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. How did those things shake out? Are you seeing some of the same stuff going on in boxing? What do you see as like an obstacle? And I know you're a confident man. Maybe you don't see too many obstacles, but what do you see as something that's like
obstacles? 0.
Right.
Because I don't do it for money.
Right.
I'm doing it for kicks. See, in the marijuana business, I'm gonna make so much money that I ain't gonna know what to do with all of it. They talking about the marijuana industry just in California alone is gonna be 58 billion.
So for the people that already have, this is the question I want to ask you. For the people that already have a firm position, because it's a zero-sum game, right? Like, in order for Rick Ross to be at the top of the boxing world, whoever's at the top right now has got to go down to the second place, right? I'm sure these people aren't just going to give it up. So,
but they don't have to know. But see, you don't let them know that though.
Right.
So you make them think that they the top. But you really be the top. So you ain't never read my book.
I've yet to read the book, man. I wish I had.
In my book, I tell about a story about me and one of my workers go to the skating ring one night.
Right.
And he looked like Mr. T. And I look like the ordinary Negro.
Now, so we're talking Mr. T with the chains. We're talking Mr. T, right?
Yeah. So when we go out, all the girls was on him. They didn't talk to me until they found out that I was really the boss.
Right. So you were Freeway Ricky Ross at this point, and nobody knew.
Yeah, but I didn't mind not looking like the boss.
Wise words.
I don't mind looking like the butler, or the chauffeur, or the bodyguard, or the boy that carry the bags.
Huh.
I want the bag.
And that's an advantage, being able to bring your ego down and being able to humble yourself enough, I guess, to essentially work your way through situations like this, business situations, negotiations. People find some humility in that, I'm assuming, right?
Correct.
Where'd you learn that from? Is that something that just came natural to you, or is that something like a life hack that you found out, or?
I don't know. I don't know where I got it from.
All right,
but
man.
You know, when I sold dope, I used to sell to the Crips and the Bloods.
Huh.
Why not? In the pen, I was one of the few blacks that the other races would let go to their stores. So I'm just saying, you know, I'm just gonna be a good helper.
I hear you. So anybody looking for help, they know who to reach out to, huh?
Yeah.
I hear you. Are there any talks yet with any of the major promoters, PBC, Top Rank, any of those guys?
I talked to Bob Aaron is the only one. He's the first one that I talked to. I was supposed to go meet him about 7-8 weeks ago, right before the lockdown. And I was gonna sneak out the house and go meet him. But it just so happened, one of my little partners got killed. One of my little jailhouse partners got killed. Like a son to me. You know, somebody I taught in jail and everything. Got killed, and I was messed up. I usually don't get messed up like that, but I was a little messed up because he's like a son to me. Probably followed my teaching better than even my sons. You know, like that. He was gonna be an animal. I'm talking about he was gonna be a maniac with this game. But anyway, he had got killed, so I canceled on Bob and told Bob that I couldn't make it. And right after that, it just got real serious with the pandemic. So it stopped it. But me and Bob, we talked on the phone a few times. K9 hooked me up with him. You know K9?
Yeah.
K9 hooked me up, man.
Okay.
Just picked up the phone and called him, man. Put him on the phone with me. Shout out to K9, my boy.
Shout out to
But yeah, man, I'm gonna have an advantage because, you know, I'm gonna have that bread like nobody else. You know, I'm gonna have bread like these dudes, like with these .comers have. You know how the .comers, when they exploded, all they had all that bread.
Right.
Well, the weed gonna explode the same way.
It's the green rush.
It's gonna be the green rush.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe that too. I believe that, you know.
So once it get all the way regulated and everything get in motion, then it's just gonna pop. So by me being at the forefront of it, I can't do nothing but just, you know, jail.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt the fact that we're going through like potentially the worst recession, or even worse than the Great Depression at this point right now. I would imagine that the taxes that you could pull in from the sales of legal marijuana would be a big help for the country.
Tempting to some president.
Exactly. And you know what? If there's anything to be said about him, I don't want to get into politics. If there's anything to be said about him, he's an opportunist, and if there's money to be made, he'll probably go ahead and try to make it. So,
no doubt.
I'll leave it there. We've got let's see who we have hanging around here. We have just me and you. Did everybody leave? Yeah, we had somebody else in here. So, do you want to? Well, you know what? First, let's because I don't know how they're going to edit this, so it might just be that this is one interview on its own, and then when we get the other guys, it's its own thing. So, if there are any last words that we got to say to the fans, or anything that you where to follow.
Well, let me say this here. What about the fighters that I picked? What I found out also about myself is I'm a copycat. But I learned one thing is that you got to make sure you copying the right cat. So what I did is I saw what Al Haymon did, how he went to the Olympics and got all the Olympic fighters. And now he's Al Haymon. But he's been Al Haymon a long time. I've been knowing about Al since the 80s when he was doing concerts. But
but you can't just sneak that in and not give me something. What do you got? What do you know? How'd you know Al? Give me a little story.
No, I didn't really know. I just knew about him.
You just knew about him. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. No, I never met him personally.
Nobody.
That's why I asked Floyd to introduce me to.
Nobody has. He's a myth.
Floyd met him.
There was a conspiracy on the computer for a few years, like this is back in the day, that Al Haymon didn't even exist. I swear to you. That's how few people have gotten to sit there. And I certainly have never seen him, but I would imagine that that's probably in the future for you. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what I did is I took one of his playbooks and I went to the Olympics, and I started talking to guys like Joe Hicks, Tiger Johnson, a couple other kids that I'm talking to right now. And who else? I know I'm leaving somebody out, man. Pete, Peter Gunn out of New York. It's so many of them I forget.
We've
else
got. Is there a female on the team? Black Dahlia?
No, that's one of our helpers. You know, she helped me with.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
With all the stuff that I do, you know.
Right.
What I do is I like to give my whole team props, you know, for helping me do what I do. I don't do this by myself.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't make it happen without them. You know, some of them, and you know, I like for them to come on and, you know, say a little something sometimes if necessary. Just, you know, be on there seeing, you know, what we doing. You know, knowing that I appreciate them, because I do. You know, my team is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. You know, I tell people that I used to work with the Bad News Bears. I still got a couple of them around too. But we getting better.
Yeah.
My team is getting better. I can see us strengthening up. You know what I'm saying? I can see we got us a nice power forward. You know, we got us a shooting guard now. You know, and we just keep filling them positions. You know, until we made it to that position that we want to be in.
What is it like when some of these fighters get to meet you? You know, I mean, I'll be honest, even in my case, I've been hearing about you since I'm a kid, you know, so, you know, you're a bit of a legend to me, a bit of a celebrity, you know, infamous celebrity. And I would imagine it's the same for a lot of these guys. What is the feeling that you get from them? What are some of the things that they tell you? How do you connect, you know, right away? How's that happen?
Man, mostly everybody loved me, man. And for me, that's really surprising with the line of work I was in. You know, I was in a dirty business. The thing that I was doing, man, was ruthless. You know what I'm saying? Selling crack to people, mamas and brothers and sisters and daddies and everything. They really should hate you. But to be forgiven, you know, when people forgive you, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, thank you. Thank you. So that's how it is when I meet people. I mean, no different with boxers.
Right.
No different.
Do they, I mean, because, you know, they're fighters. I mean, these are people that are the toughest of the toughest people. They probably tear through any room, you know, in America, if you put them in a bar room or something like that. But I'm sure to some extent they look at you at, you know, you were a gangster, man. They look at you as the tough guy. They look at you as the, you know, essentially a kingpin, you know, Rick Ross.
They do. And that's where we go wrong at.
Right.
Because I'm much more than that now.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
That's what I was. That's what I was 30-some years ago.
Correct.
We talking about 32 years later.
Yeah.
Been to the feds for 20 years. Read over 300. Went from being totally illiterate to reading over 300 books. And also getting so smart that I was able to tell my lawyer the issue that got me out of prison. And told him how to phrase it.
Did your lawyer give you a discount since you did half his job for him, or?
No, he didn't. He was court appointed. My hired lawyer told me to save my money that I was never going to get out.
Huh.
Yep.
So
yep.
He didn't want the money. He just said, don't even bother trying.
Exactly.
Wow. What, I mean, just for the sake of.
You got to read that article, man.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the fighting. I wanted to ask, just give me 1 second. There's talks of the possibility of having fighters fight in a studio setting. you know, Bob Arum actually is the guy that mentioned it, saying, you know, we'll have the media tested, we will have the fighters tested, and we'll have them fighting some sort of studio setting. Is that something that you would be willing to?
They saying that in all the sports.
Right.
But I don't know if that's gonna work.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it'll work, you know, with this virus. You know, I think that we're gonna have to come up with a cure for this virus. I don't think that there's no way of going back to any norms. They said this thing carried for 26 feet. A sneeze. So one of the camera guys could have it and sneeze and affect all of the referees, the players. I mean, so we got to do something to get herd immunity.
Yeah. So in your mind, you just don't see us even getting back to it until we either until we get the vaccine, essentially, right?
That's what we should be worried about.
Yeah.
Getting back to a fight, or some basketball, or some football, that shit is secondary.
Yeah.
Or getting back to selling weed, that shit's secondary.
Oh, man.
I ain't worried about that shit right now.
Rick, man.
But I'm still helping. I'm showing fighters right now. These guys I'm working with, I'm showing them how to become relevant, even in a situation like this, where you can't get in the ring. So I want to teach them how to make money outside the ring.
Right.
Anybody can make the money in the ring. You go in there, you know, you get slugged, you win the fight. You're your promoter. He pay you because you was in the ring. So many people saw you on TV, and he'll see you in a year. No, I want the guys. I want them in movies. I want them in commercials. I'm gonna do stuff that they ain't thinking about. You know, like we working on Tiger Love right now.
I met him in Philly, right, at the J-Rock event. Was that Tiger?
No. Tiger wasn't there.
No, who's the guy I met? He had like a nice little charm.
You met Scooter.
Okay, yeah.
I ain't heard from Scooter in a couple months though. You know, since we left New York, I think we talked one time. So I don't know if he's still gonna work with me or not. Somebody might have told him to stay away from me. You know, they get that sometimes. You know, stay away from that Negro.
But see, that's one of the roadblocks I was telling you about. But I don't care about that. I don't care about that shit. Yeah.
Ain't no roadblock.
Right.
I'm gonna take another motherfucker and do the same thing I had planned for him.
Damn, man.
Or 10. Or 10.
That's right.
Or 20. You heard about the dudes that they wasn't even fighters. They was telling me about two dudes that wasn't even fighters, got paid so much money, man.
Oh, the YouTube guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I've been working on this internet stuff. You know, my Mike Tyson interview just dropped.
What was that, on Hotboxing or?
Yeah, on Hotboxing. About today. I've been getting so many calls. My phone blowing up right now.
Mike was just on the site, man. He dropped a video. He looks like he's in good shape now. He's been getting in shape, it seems. Yeah, man.
Mike's still a bull, man.
Did you any run-ins with Mike back in the day? Way back in the day.
No. We went to a couple of his early fights, you know. But I was slipping. I was slipping on the fight game back then.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, one day we was all in what's the name? Man, we gonna be going so long telling you these stories. We was at Caesar's Palace at a fight, you know, me and all the dudes from LA, you know, all the players. We was at a big old table. So Don King saw us. We probably was about 25, 26 at the time. And he came over to the table, you know, and shook all our hand, kind of like saying, yeah, I see y'all. And when I was in prison, I was like, damn, I wonder what would have happened if I would have got up that day and told Don King I had $3 million. And I wanted to invest with him. Where would I be at today? That was before I went to prison.
Right.
Yeah, so just stuff like that, you know, be running through my mind. So
Ross, what do we have to look out for? First of all, where do people follow you on social media? Where do we get the information? How does somebody keep up to date with what it was you were talking about with your doctor and the vaccine and all that stuff?
They can follow me on my Instagram at Freeway Rick.
Okay.
I got my own website, Freeway Rick Ross, for people who want to buy the book or a T-shirt or something like that there. As far as keeping up with what I'm doing, I always do something on my Instagram and let people know what's going on. I'll be doing lives at least 2 a week with different people. Either they got over the coronavirus or they got it right now. They're a doctor in it, a nurse in it, something like that there. You know, just trying to keep it out there, keep people informed on what's the latest and the greatest.
I hear you, man. I don't know if anybody is gonna come on, but if we got it, I feel like I got it.
Okay. I wanted you to interview the dudes too.
Oh, where they at?
I don't know.
No, they're not in the room. Like I've got it right here off. That's why I keep glancing off to the side. I could see like all the people I invited.
Well, maybe we'll do another one with them and let them do the talking, man.
Right.
I wanted them in there too.
I did too. I mean, they have the invites in their emails. I'll wait around for them. So I have no problem with that. They have the invites. I've got questions for them prepared. If they jump into the room, we do it now.
What's up, man?
What's up, Rick?
Man, working.
Man, I see.
Man, we finna get it, man. We gonna turn this boxing thing upside down.
Man, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, make a circus out this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, they want to see a show.
So they want to see a show?
That's what they want.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They didn't come there to see no motherfuckers dance around. They come to see a show. They want to see somebody that's dynamic.
Right. I got
flair. They got flair.
Power, man.
Joe, tell us something about yourself, man. What's your record? Where you from? Amateur record, pro record. Where are we at?
I'm amateur right now. I'm on the U.S. Olympic team. My record, I'm not sure exactly what it was. I just remember my losses. I got 100 and some wins and 17 losses.
So, being that you were on the amateur team, was your plan to go to the games in 2020?
Oh yeah, that's still the goal. That's still the ultimate goal, the plan. Go there and get a gold medal, learn as much as I can, get as much experience as I can, get a gold medal and go in the pros with that.
So you still plan on sticking around, because there's been some reports that maybe some like blue chip Olympian prospects are thinking about going pro. They're saying that the games are going to maybe be in 2021, and some guys are talking about just going pro. You're going to stick around though, correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, going pro probably won't be a good idea because everything gonna pause with that too.
Right.
Yeah, right. You're right, George. So really, it ain't nothing happening right now with the pros or the amateurs. So
yeah.
You got a while to make your decision.
Yeah,
That's a fair point, because I don't think that the Olympics rely on the attendance. I might be wrong, but I don't think they rely on the attendance as much as they do on just having the games themselves, and they can probably just air those on TV. So you might be right with that.
Right. Yeah,
I don't
air that on TV before.
I'm sorry?
So you can air that on TV before you can do a pro fight. So, because the money in the pros, the Olympics, they just get people to watch it, and they all right.
I asked Ross this question. I'm going to ask you the same one. What was your first impression meeting Rick Ross? I'm pretty sure you knew who he was beforehand, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So what was the impression of meeting Rick? And what were the thoughts? Were you anxious? Was he who you thought he was going to be? Maybe just explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I heard about it, it was my brother, a guy like a brother to me named Ardrell. He gave me a call, told me that Rick Ross wanted to talk to me, and I was just like me. So then I was thinking you want to talk to me? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, let me call, man. Let me call. So when I call, I get to talking to him. I'm like, oh man, this guy legit.
Now, what makes you a good fit with Ross? Is it a personality thing? Is it a work ethic thing? Is it what exactly is it that makes you guys gel together?
I think it's the personality and the work ethic. I mean, he working. He working. I see it. He working. And I'm working too. I'm constantly working in the gym. But what his goal is to make sure I can that's all I got to do is work in the gym. He a man of his word.
I mean, I would imagine being who he is, he would have to be. People in his position probably don't make it very far in his business without being a man of their words, right? So, what do you think about that, Rick?
Well, when you're on them streets, everything is done on a handshake.
Right.
What you said is what it's supposed to be. So that's the way I believe that it's supposed to be. And like I said, I told you earlier with me, I ain't in this for money. I'm having fun. When I talk to these youngsters on the phone and I call it playing with their head. When I get to play with their head, for me, that's fun, man. That's like, I don't know, one of the greatest feelings in the world, to play with their head and then a light bulb go off in their head and they say, oh, I get it. I see what you're talking about. When that happens, man, it's like a feeling like you just can't believe. So, that's what I'm working for.
So Joe, as a fighter, like hearing that from a Rick, what's your official role in Joe's career? Manager? So I don't want
advisor.
Okay. So.
But I'm gonna be more than that. I told you already. I'm the bodyguard. I'm the bag man. I'm the chauffeur. Yeah. I got to do all those things. Okay,
so being a man that wears many hats in Joe's career, Joe, how does that make you feel knowing that that in a sport with I'll just say it straight up, a lot of scumbags, Rick's got a track record for being a legit dude, and does that take off some of the pressure and not having to maybe watch your back from your own manager? It's boxing.
Yeah, like all honesty, yeah, like I came up from the street, so like a legit dude like that in your corner, man, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Thank you, Joe.
Where are you from again, Joe?
Grand Rapids. Where Floyd from? Where Floyd Mayweather?
Okay, yeah. So, Grand Rapids, right? Yeah. You know any of the Mayweather family?
His brother Justin Mayweather, me and him real close. But a lot of people don't know his brother because they ain't find out he was senior son till he was like 19.
Yeah.
I know the senior. I know senior though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know senior and his assistant Rob Garcia. I know both of those are my friends. Rob and Senior have been a duo when they worked with Floyd in his early days, and De La Hoya as well.
Okay.
Rob is a dietitian. Rob is helping me with Austin right now too. Austin Trout.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. So what was your initial meeting with Floyd Senior like?
Oh man, he hilarious.
Yeah.
That dude is hilarious, man. Hey, you know what, dog? When that first Tyson Fury fight, we sit together, right? And I was telling him that the Britons didn't think what's the name was winning that fight. Wilder was winning that fight. He kept saying, "Oh, this one over, baby. This one over." I say, "Boy, no, the Britons don't think so." I was trying to tell him it was close. I couldn't pick who was winning, right? But I knew it was close, man, and I knew that boy was tough for Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Because that boy went home and he did his homework. After that close fight, he was just coming off that smoking bin. But when he got that second time, he went to work. He worked. He did legs. He did all kind of stuff. He came in like 50 pounds heavier, but muscle.
Hey man, lastly, guys, Joe, I want to ask you one more question. What kind of impact do you think you and your stablemates can make in boxing with Rick Ross at the forefront?
I think I can make a big impact on boxing. I got a lot of guys big on the power. I got a lot of power. I got a great jab, and just the work ethic. The work ethic that a lot of guys want to party and do all these other things. I'm strictly boxing. I'm going get better and work to get better. So with Rick handling the outside and me just focusing on training, I think I'll make a huge impact.
Hey, Joe, man.
You already know. You already know, baby.
You, my man. I'm gonna let Tiger in the room right now. It was great having you on, and we'll get up soon. And hopefully, when this thing blows over, I'll get to meet you in person.
All right, nice. Hopefully, I get to meet you too. Thanks, man.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
But my name is Delonte Tiger Johnson from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm 152 pounds, welterweight, and I got over 100 fights, so I'm not really sure what my record is. But I know they got like our last fights on BoxRec from like the last 2 years or something like that on BoxRec. So
I see you got the Team USA shirt on.
oh yeah.
I spoke to what I would assume is another one of your teammates, Joe Hicks, just now. He just left the chat. I'm assuming since you're wearing the shirt, your plans are to stick around and compete.
Right, yeah. That's the plan for now.
What went into that decision making process?
It was really a tough decision for real, because I didn't know what was gonna happen because of this virus. So it was just a lot to think about, really, and it was really a hard decision for if I should just wait another year or just go pro. So, but I just came down to the decision that I'm just stay for the Olympics. I mean, because you only get one shot for the Olympics, and that's been my whole dream since a little kid. So I'm gonna just go with it.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I don't know that people put as much emphasis on winning. I shouldn't say people, but maybe some fighters now, they're looking to get signed, they're looking to get paid before they win the gold medal. And other fighters feel the same way you feel about it. Like it's still really an important thing for you to accomplish. What is it about that specific goal over money, over personal fame that what is it about that specifically that keeps you focused in on that goal?
I mean, that's a goal, man, that a lot of people can't get. It's like it's a hard road to get to that goal, but it's like you get to live the rest of your life as an Olympian, a person who went to the 2020 Olympics. That's history. So everybody can't say they've been to the Olympics, and to say that you got a gold medal, that's just like a crazy accomplishment. And I want to be marked in history as with the GOATs that got gold medals, like with Pernell Whitaker and Muhammad Ali. I want to be in that same list.
What do you think makes, I asked Joe the same question, I'll ask you, what do you think makes you a good fit with Rick, personality-wise, just in general, what makes you guys click?
We both got good business ideas. He gave me some good ideas of what he can do to help me as just outside of boxing.
Right.
Because he know what I can do in the ring, but he wants to help me outside the ring as well. So, man, we have some good ideas, and it's all going to blow up soon. So everybody just gonna have to see. Wait and
so I'm
see.
assuming, I would imagine just like everybody else, you knew who he was before you met him, correct? Like you were.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right? Did he exceed expectations? Was he like how you thought he would be, or different, or what did you say about that?
It wasn't. I kind of expected for his personality to be like that, because I watched his documentaries and seeing a lot of his interviews and stuff, and I knew what kind of person he was just from that. So I kind of figured what kind of conversation we was gonna have.
So for people that are unfamiliar with you, and for somebody that wants to get to know you, what's something about yourself that most people wouldn't know? Where do they follow you on social media, and how do they get to know you better?
You can follow me on Instagram at Tiger Johnson 216 and Twitter Tiger Johnson 216. And I got a lot of highlights and good videos on my page. So if you want to see like overall what kind of fighter I am, or just looking to see some excitement, I got all that on my page.
No, we want to know what kind of person you are. What
kind of person?
Specifically about you that we need to know.
I mean, I'm a fun person for real, man. I'm a fun, laid back person. If you like watch my stories and stuff that I post, it's all just funny content, really. I'm a fun person. I mean, I just be chilling for real. I like to have fun.